Outcast Mentality presents Savage Basement. Here we are with my good friend Steve Assault. I'm your other guy here, Samoan Rob. Check it out.
All right, now we're here in my basement. Sometimes we might come
His
to
basement.
We might come to you from Rob's basement, which is also a savage basement. But the basement is a really important place in my life as well as Rob's.
No weak shit. That's the difference between a normal person's basement and a savage basement.
Yes.
The weak shit ain't fucking down here.
Yes. Ever since I was a kid, I love spending a lot of time in the basement, playing Nintendo, watching shitty movies. Doing
Shittier
whatever,
the better.
Yes. Doing whatever the fuck I wanted. The basement was like my realm. Still as a grown-ass man, the basement is my realm.
I agree.
So, today, what are we going to talk about?
We are going to talk about the movie Alligator from what year?
I believe it's from 1981.
81.
I think Alligator is 81.
Don't
80 or
quote us
81.
on that. You can Google it.
Anyways, my opinion, greatest movie about alligator ever made.
I agree. Way better than that Crawl movie, just saying.
I liked the Crawl movie. I thought it was
It was
but
good.
It's not.
It was.
It's no alligator.
No, it's not.
It's not
Show
even
them this.
close.
That's
Yes,
the real
there's
deal right there.
The Lightning Video Alligator VHS.
What does it say here? Yeah, 1980.
Yeah, watched many, many times. One of my favorite tapes, a tape that I will never, ever part with. Alligator holds a special place in my heart because that is classic Saturday afternoon fodder, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a classic.
That was always on at like noon on fucking Saturday afternoon. It is just like awesome. It was on like Alligator, Frogs, those type of movies.
Animals Attack movies.
Yes.
Or Jaws ripoffs, which Alligator was, even though it
Yes.
was years after Jaws.
Yeah.
It was just Jaws on land, kind of.
Well, that's what they said, Grizzly.
Yeah, they said Grizzly was Jaws on land, but
Grizzly
really
was
Alligator
Jaws on
made
land.
more sense as Jaws on land because it was a big jaw thing, you know.
But let's get into why Alligator is the greatest fucking alligator movie ever made. Rob, what do you think? Why do you think it's the greatest?
First, it's funny. Second, the alligator is a fucking mutant. It's not like in that Crawl bullshit where it's just like some rando alligator. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, you have to be mutated or a monster for me to be really interested.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the reason why Alligator works so well is because the humor in Alligator is intentional. Like,
It's funny, and it's written funny. Like, it's legit
yes,
funny.
It's written like the jokes come at the expense of the movie itself. It's supposed to be funny. It's not supposed to be a joke, which makes it a little more like easier to swallow. There's a giant ass alligator busting through the street, which is, I think, the best scene in the movie.
It's awesome.
When the alligator busts through the fucking sidewalk, it's unbelievably awesome. Like, especially because there's like kids there, and the kids are like, wow. Like, if you were a kid and you saw that shit, it'd be the greatest thing you ever saw in your entire life.
And it's a gore fest.
Yeah, it's really brutal too.
Especially for that era. I mean, it's very gory for the time.
Yeah, the people, they're brutally murdered. The alligator shows no mercy.
It's like a slasher flick from that time, but just an alligator ripping people up.
Yeah, man. And here's the thing that's great about the movie is the ending is great, but the ending was also ripped off by Chud like 3 or 4 years later. Chud had like the same exact ending with the
Yeah,
dudes.
it was very similar.
With the dudes like in the sewer, and then they couldn't get out of the sewer because somebody parked the car over the manhole cover. It's like the same fucking ending.
They did that in the Blob remake, too.
What's up with that, Chud? What the fuck?
Chud is not even close to as good as Alligator, my opinion only.
I don't think that Chud is as I like Chud a lot, but I don't think Chud is as good as
Chud doesn't have the action that an alligator does.
It does not. And in Chud, the biggest problem with Chud always for me was that the main bad guy from the government was so weak.
Very weak.
It was just like a man. It was just like a man that you could just like push him over, and like he was like no real threat to you. It was just like the weakest man that you ever saw in your fucking life.
Alligator was not weak. The thing trashed people.
Nah, and the cop dude in Alligator was tough too. He was like he seemed like a cool guy. Like he would like be a tough guy and like a cool guy to like hang out with too.
What's the alligator's name? Ramon in the movie, too?
Yeah, I think the alligator's name was Ramon.
Yeah, so the alligator has a cool-ass name, too.
And he gets flushed down the toilet, of course.
Yes. Mutated.
Because he ate all the dogs from the lab that was being tested on. But then the vengeance comes for them. The alligator busts up the guy who runs the company, his daughter's wedding.
Yes, which is great. That's a great scene.
It's a
Classic.
great scene. When I was a little kid, I always thought the scene where like he crushed the limo was like so nasty for some reason.
It's because it's worse because he just crushes the guy instead of really eating him.
Yeah, it seemed like way worse. It also, to me, when I was a kid, it was like an old man. I didn't quite get when I was a little boy watching the movie that he was like the bad guy of the movie. So to me, it just seemed like some like nice old
Yeah.
man was just being crushed to death, who was just cooking like hot dogs and shit like 5 minutes before.
Yeah, he gets crushed. The rich people die, which is great.
Yes.
The old man's crushed in limo, and they pour spaghetti sauce on his head while he's in there.
Yeah. The only bad part is like the maid lady gets killed. It should only have been rich people being killed at the party. She
I
gets killed
agree. The
horribly.
rich people should have just been killed.
I feel bad for the maid lady that
Yeah,
was
'cause
killed
like
by the alligator.
A sewer gator killing rich people, it's very poetic.
If you've never seen Alligator, you need to see it as soon as possible. If you've never seen Alligator 2, you might not want to watch it because it totally sucks.
It's the one guy's funny in it though.
Yeah, but if you're a completist,
Yeah.
you would have to see Alligator 2, which I also have somewhere on these shelves. But what do you think is the second greatest movie about killer alligators?
I don't know. I really don't know. I'd have to think about that.
What do you think about Lake Placid?
Oh yeah, by far. Actually, Lake Placid would be to me tied with Alligator as far as my favorite. Actually, is Lake Placid an alligator or a crocodile? I think he's a crocodile. I could be wrong. Crocodiles' bills are shorter. That's the
But I
only
don't-
difference between alligator and crocodile.
I think it's an alligator because it's somewhere in America. If I'm not mistaken, there's not too many crocodiles in America. They're saltwater creatures.
Well, that was the thing. It was
crocodiles.
supposedly like prehistoric because it lived in the lake for whatever reason. I think Lake
remember.
Placid is great because
Maybe-
it's real. It's similar to Alligator where it's funny. There's gore in it. There's real good characters. So
I think that we have to ask. Maybe we got to ask Betty White.
Yeah,
maybe Betty
Betty
White
White.
will be able to tell us more about
there's the twist of two
the alligator. in Lake
alligator
Placid.
crocodile things in Lake Placid where an alligator there wasn't.
Yeah, it's true. Alligator. Yeah,
But here's the thing: Lake Placid was just a lake, so it was kind of they played it off like Loch Ness or some shit, where alligator was in the city,
all
which
right.
is way harder to do.
Now, what do you think? What do you think is better, alligator or grizzly?
Alligator.
Think alligator is better than grizzly?
As far as watchable movies, yes, alligator's way more watchable. Grizzly, I like. It's cool, but it's not that great to me.
I don't know. I really like grizzly.
Yeah.
Grizzly. We'll talk about grizzly on another episode. We'll talk about grizzly. That's like favorite. I don't have a really hard time choosing between alligator and grizzly. They both are Saturday afternoon classic films. Both are films that I liked as a boy, little kid. Very gross. And
Grizzly,
gruesome
definitely.
movies.
They would have the week on TBS where it'd be Grizzly, the Animals Attack Week. They'd
Yeah,
have Grizzly, Day of the
Animals.
Animals.
They
They'd
had
have
Night of the Grizzly.
Night of the Lepus.
Night of the Lepus.
Yeah,
Oh,
they'd have
was
that.
always on. That was one. That was one.
That was on
a lot.
TBS when I was a kid. Yes.
Yeah, that was great. For those of you who might not know, Saturday afternoon was like amazing time for awesome shitty movies in the 80s.
Yes.
So when we were kids, these shitty movies were always on TV. Grizzly, Alligator, Day of the Animals. All these movies were constantly on Saturday afternoon. After cartoons ended, these shitty movies always began. So guys like me and Rob, we spent most of our Saturday afternoons when we were youths watching this trash.
Oh yeah, I always did. My parents abandoned me when I was young, so I just had a television to raise me, and
Yeah.
a lot of good flicks were on back then.
Well, I'm glad you're able to reconnect with these films still as an adult. They're so important to you that
Yes,
that took you off the streets.
yes. I'm
And-
still mentally scarred from the abandonment, but
Yeah.
these films do brighten my day from time to time.
Well, that's all we got today. We'll be back again with Savage Basement, maybe from my basement, maybe from Rob's basement.
You
Till
never
then,
know. VHS posers, fuck off.
Till then, make sure you check out our podcast, the Late Nights and Fistfights podcast.
New episode soon.
You could find them anywhere, Apple Podcasts, anywhere that you find respectable podcasts. This is one of the top podcasts in the fucking world.
Yeah, we'll be talking about more movies on there, so this is just a little bit more in depth on stuff we talk about anymore.
All right, stay savage.